Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the second virtual workshop of GenAI Exchange Hackathon. This hackathon is all about how we can utilize and incorporate GenAI tools from Google Cloud, and it is part of the GenAI Exchange program that has been running. The first leg of which was GenAI Academy. So today we have gathered here to go through a virtual workshop which will consider MCP Toolbox and travel recommendations for which we'll be connecting. But soon before that, what we'll be doing is that we'll be going through the hackathon in detail, understanding what the hackathon is all about, and see what are the fundamentals of it. So GenAI Exchange Hackathon is a part of the, as I mentioned, second phase of the GenAI Exchange program, wherein it is open to all the innovators, developers, IT practitioners, startups from across India to utilize Google Cloud services and build the cutting edge technologies utilizing Google tools. So this is what the hackathon is all about. We went live and it is open to participants to explore, build solutions that are solving for India. As we mentioned, it's open only for Indian participants to solve for India. There's a prize pool of 65 lakhs rupees, which is up for grabs. Um, Hands-on experiences through workshop sessions that we are doing, the second of which we are doing today. We'll also have mentorship rounds during the next stages of the hackathon, and then obviously a offline finale for the top teams. So the timeline of the hackathon looks like we started on 23rd of July. The registration phase has been extended considering the problem statements were released later on. So we are running the registrations till 21st of September. The prototype submissions is when we are expecting the participants to make the submissions entirely based out on the problem statements that they have selected. There are basically two tracks, the student track and the professional track. So select accordingly as per the category that you fall in, and the prototype submissions are to be made by 21st of September. Currently, the online workshops are ongoing, the second of which we are attending today. Post that, once you have made the submissions of prototype by 21st of September, 15th October is when the shortlist announcement would be done. Further which the further enhancement of the prototype will be done. Will be giving 10 days to further enhance based on the feedbacks provided from the evaluators, and post which on 4th of November top 100 teams would be announced. 5 for the student track, 5 for 10 per problem statement for 5 student tracks, and 10 per problem statement for 5 professional tracks. And there would be a grand finale on 22nd of November. So that's the timeline for everyone. And in terms of, as I've mentioned, what's the prize pool? The total prize pool is of 65 lakhs, out of which for student tracks we have distributed 25 lakhs rupees, and for professional tracks we have 40 lakhs rupees. Uh, Post that, what we'll be doing is that currently, as all the participants are registering, participants are exploring what the tools are, etc., we need to understand the fundamentals. And as such, what we are doing is that we are doing multiple sessions across different tools that are to be utilized. And one such session that we are doing today is on MCP Toolbox and travel recommendation. And we have with us Gunjan Garg from Google Cloud. She's a customer engineer at Google Cloud. So, hello, hi Gunjan, welcome to the session.
Hey, hi Kartik. Hello everyone. Thanks for having me today.
Hello. Yes, so Gunjan, over to you now, and we'll take in the Q&A at towards the end. So, over to you, Gunjan.
Thanks, Kaushik. Hello everyone. This is Gunjan. I am part of the Google Cloud team. I work here as a customer engineer, and it's great all of you seeing taking part in the GenAI hackathon. And I'm sure that you will build some really nice use cases going forward. Today, I'll take this opportunity to present, to talk about how you can build your agents using Google native products and technologies. So we'll be briefing about ADK as well as MCP toolkit, and we'll be doing a workshop on that, and we'll doing the hands-on labs, and we'll be executing it end to end, right? So I'll just, just share my screen. Let me know if everything is visible to you. Can I have some? hand raises. If it is visible. Thank you. Thank you. Super. So today I'll cover. So it's 4:10. So so in 10-20 minutes, let's cover the basics of it so that we understand the how we are gonna build agents, how what the ADK actually provides, what actually the some background on how the agents we can build, where we are in the AI industry, and it will all be technical today, and then we'll follow along the lab. And in case if you face any problem, please feel free to put it in the chat box, right? So let me start with what is agentic AI, right? So everybody is now talking about agentic AI, where we are. So lot much is happening in the industry today. Uh, so from where like it is started. So AI is, when we AI is at a very broader level when we say it is more about when we expect machines to try to mimic, human intelligence. And when it comes to machine learning, it is about like machine is trained to learn automatically without explicitly telling, what it needs to be done. So ML, you can think of it as about that machine based on the data that we give, based on the information that we give, it understands what it needs to be returned out that we used to do in machine learning. Then it comes an era of generative AI where instead of just based on the learned data and giving a subset of that data as an output, generative AI is able to give you the ability to generate text, images, or video in different modality that it has not been learned explicitly on that particular data, right? So this is how the generative AI has evolved. Now we have come into an era where it is agentic AI. So when we say agentic AI, it is like when you can agentic AI that can system that can plan and take actions and can understand what the like we do as a human, right? We understand what the problem statement is, what action do we need to do, we plan the strategy around it. And this is how the agentic AI has been evolving. So it's just very interesting times we all are in. So how agentic AI is different from the generative AI, right? So and generative AI is more about generating new kind of a content where it can be text, images, video, audio in some form or the other. And agentic AI is when we talk at a very broader level where the models, where the AI can also understand the context and also take the actions and behave the human mimic. So let's understand few use cases, right? If you see this particular use cases that you see over here, so generative AI basically it says that the examples like write a poem for me. This is the data. Can you extract some information out of it? Can you summarize this particular data? Can you generate this picture? Right. While agentic AI is like that, I need to plan a vacation. Can you help get me a planner based on my inputs, like these are the days, this is the destination. Can you ask me relevant question and help me plan a vacation or a trip? Or my if in IT industry it would be like my VPN is down, these are the logs, there you can get the information. Can you suggest what could have been the problem, diagnose it, document it, create a Jira case, raise alert, send the email to the respective people, right? This is how the powerful the agentic AI looks like, right? So how do we say that agentic AI uses generative AI as a brains to it, right? Because without generative AI, without understanding the power of the LLMs, agentic AI won't work, right? So LLM, the generative AI, the LLMs becomes the brain of the agentic AI, right? So how have we evolved so far? Just right. So you must be following from the last 1.5 and 2 years that how we have been evolving, right? So earlier it was there a new LLM has come into the market, and you write the prompt, right? You write the prompt based on its knowledge base, it's give you the some answers, right? Then we moved further and we said, okay, the context is very large, the document is very large, there are a lot of information. Can now LLM give me the desired output, can summarize a long document that it was not able to process earlier? Now we created the strategy of retrieval rags, right? Then we move one step further. Okay, now we are able to pass the long context, different modality of data. Can we take some kind of actions on it? Like, can it summarize the data and can send it to the maybe my inbox, or or post it to some other third party information? Then it is like, till then it was more of a generative AI kind of a work. Now the things come, use cases come in. Okay, I can do all these things into fragments, right? What if there is somebody who can club all this and take the actions on behalf of me? There it comes the definition of agent, that it understand the context, it knows what it needs to do, it take help from the tools to take some actions, and it understands and can parse your data well. Now we have created one agent in this particular module. Now, of course, now again, single agent cannot be a superhero. It needs we need to fragment a bigger task into multiple agents, where they can collaborate, they can independently work on their own subset of information or subset of tasks, and then can jointly do a bigger task. So there we came the concept of multi-agent system, where multiple agents collaborate together for a desired output. Now, uh, that after that thing, what next thing comes in? I have created one agent, but I need help. Somebody else has also created one agent. Just like we consume APIs for different subsystems, right? We interact with different subsystems using the APIs today. Now some say there is some agent that has been created by SAP solutions, or maybe some agent has been created by Microsoft systems, right? How do I collaborate? My agent can take can do a collaboration with those agents that has already been built and published, right? So this is how the agent to agent protocols and all these things have come into the picture, where we say that multi agent systems with remote agents, right? So far with me, everybody? Yes, no, maybe? Can we have some hands up? Okay, so remote agent, yeah. So remote, Niharika had a question. That's what is remote agent. So remote agent, you can think of it. Say, for example, let me take an example. Something like, if you plan a trip, right? You go to some airline website, you go to some hotel website, and then you go to some maybe some for hotels. You go to make my trip, right? Or you for flight booking you go to some other trip, and for local sightseeing you go to some other. Like, now what if make my trip has already created an agent, and you as one of the applications, you want to write an application where your agent want to leverage make my trip agent as one of the entity from where, like, see, likewise, like you today consume, say if you want to have an integration with make my trip or any other subsystem, you use APIs to connect those subsystems, right? When you build your own application. Now what if those APIs has already been exposed as part of the agent? How would you connect with them, right? So that is where we need a to a kind of a protocols, where you connect your agents to the external agents for which you don't have a direct access to, but you using some using APIs and frameworks, you can call those agents. Okay. Okay. So when it comes to agent platform in GCP, so you will see some components over here that we will be doing in our workshop today. Okay. So if you see over here this particular slide, you will see that there is an agent framework, right, in the center. So agent framework is, you must, if you have built some kind of agents in the past, you can see that there are multiple libraries that you can use to create agents, like Glue AI, A2G from Microsoft, LangGraph, Engine. Likewise, Google has also come up with the open source ATK, that is agent framework, that is ADK, Agent Development Kit, that has the libraries to support for building the agents, right? And then this framework, when you write the agent, you will interact with different kind of tools. So tools, you can think of it as a applications, or databases, MCP tools, right, where you will get the information and take the actions on. And then of course there would be models. So ADK can connect with any models that has access to Gemini direct. Being a Google product, Gemini models are directly integrated, so you integrate with your Google Cloud project and you can access the Gemini models from there. Likewise, if there are any other open source models, you can always use Model Garden and get the access of the open source models from there. And as I said earlier also, models are the brain of agent, right? So while for creating any kind of a agent, you need a toolkit using which you will write the application. So ADK works that. For taking actions, connecting to other sources of information, you will need tools. And for making the information understanding of the context, you will need models. And if there are any agents that you want to integrate with, you will need A to A. So we will not be covering A to A in this session. Maybe on later sessions you will be requiring A to A, or you can always go and read about it. uh, when it comes to this, is the right hand side you see is for the development side. So once you build your agent, you will need a platform where you can deploy these agents. So in the left hand side you see there is a agent engine. You can deploy it on agent engine, you can deploy it on Cloud Run, right, or you can deploy it on compute engine as per the configuration of the requirements. So this is the deployment model. And any questions so far? Do you have any challenge? So in this particular lab, we will be covering ADK, we will be covering tool, MCP tool, and we will be hosting it on Cloud Run if the time permits. Yes. Okay, can we use OpenAI's Claude as LLM engine? Yes, you can use if you have access to. How stable the system is, especially on the AGI agent and in relation to other similar technologies. See, I think you should try it and then you share the feedback. It's quite stable. It is used in production for a lot of agents that have been built so far. Okay. Okay, so let's move forward. So what next we will cover is the ADK key concepts. So this is very important because while building the agents, we should always know that what kind of SDKs are provided and what the agent means. How do we define an agent? How do we configure an agent? So has anybody built any kind of a application and they have explored building agents, simple or complex, with ADK before? Anybody from the chat? Super. Pritam Sehgal says that he has built some kind of agents. Okay, super. This will be very helpful while while you will be building your own agents for this hackathon, right? So first start with, like, what is ADK? It's a framework, just like you use Glue AI and AG2 and other frameworks. So it is published by Google. It's for developing and deploying the AI agents, and it integrates with popular LLMs and open source generative AI tools, and it because it is a Google native, Google developed ADK and SDK, so it integrates very well with other Google subsystems like BigQuery, Cloud SQL that we will see today, right? So how do we define an agent in ATK? So if you see, there is a base agent and there are multiple uh, categories of agents, how you can define and you can architect your solution well, right? So agent is, when you define an agent, so agent is a self-contained execution unit. Is there you define, what is the goal is, what the tools it should be using, and if there are anything specific information which model you want agent to using, all these you define as part of the when you define an agent, right? And here if you see, when you define an agent, there are multiple uh, agents, type of agents for creating the workflows that you define. So one, first on the left hand side in the new, you see the LLM based agent. So LLM based agents are agents where you say, for example, you it's the main agent that where you integrate, you specify your LLM. Okay, this is the LLM, this is the objective, this is what you should be agent should be behaving, this is what the information it needs to take care of, these are the guardrails, these are the guidelines, right? A lot of information that you provide comes to the LLM agent, right? It does all the reasoning and planning and generate the output, right? And then creating, there are workflow agents and these are the custom logics that you can create. So we'll cover the workflow agents. So first, like I just want to give you a glimpse, you will be creating similar kind of agent in our workshop as well. So how do you actually create an agent? So you will write, the syntax would be very simple. Like you will create an LLM agent. There you define that which model you are using. You define, give the name to a model, and you give the instruction what this model is, what this agent is supposed to do. Right now, for some kind, for the agents, like say for example these ones, right? If you want, so I'll go a little faster. So agents, something like, here, say if you want to create agents and you want some kind of a sequential processing, right? Say for example, first agent says you write the code, second agent says you verify, you review the code, and third agent you create, you refactor the code, and you want all these agents to work one after another. So how do you change that information? You can use sequential agent. How do you define that sequential agent? If you see on the right hand side in the gray box, sequential agent, and you define the sub agents. One, writer agent, reviewer agent, and refactor agent. So what will happen is, once you execute this code, these agents will execute one after another, right? So these code writer agent, reviewer, refactor, all three are independent agents, but you have create an orchestrator that will call these agents one after another, right? Similarly, in parallel agents, say for example, if you want like travel booking, you want to book hotel, you want to book airline, you want to book some sightseeing. So these tasks can be done in parallel, right? So you can create an orchestration layer where you define that okay, this is my parallel agent, but all these agents you can, the sub agents you can call these in parallel, right? And similarly, loop agents, you can create loop kind of orchestration using loop agents. So why these all kind of a different orchestration is available is important, because when you build an application, it is not always the monolithic and simple workflow that this they do this and get this. It is not always that simple. So you need workflows to orchestrate and create the workflows in the right manner. So this is where like library provides you off the shelf all these hooks so that you can manage your application or create your application better. Now, there are some tools that we will be exploring today. Some are like built-in tools. Built-in tools, say for example, Google search. You want model to go to the Google search and get the information from there and give you the output, right? So you can use Google search, you can use Vertex AI search, BigQuery. These are like off the shelf built-in tools that are available in the library, and you can use that. There are other tools like function tools, agent as a tool, where you need to create your business logic and expose them as an agent for expose them as a tool, so that your main agent can refer those tools and can take actions as specified in the logic. Just a sample code so that you all are aware. This we will be using in today's workshop as well. This one, in the ADK, you import that Google search, and as a tool, you mention that you know which tool you are using. So this is the build example of the built-in tool. Now, how do we create a function tool? Similarly, function tool is something. So, for example, here in this get weather report, you have created a Python function. It does something. Take the based on the city name, it returns you some output, right? This is something a very basic logic, but of course, when you create a bigger application, it would be more complex, and you wrap this particular function as the function tool, right? The one in the highlighted one, and your model, when you create an agent on the right hand side, you can use this particular tool as a, what you have created on the left as a tool. So whenever there is a query to the agent, it will refer this tool to return the output. Right? And similarly, when you create an agent, you can specify those agent as well as a tool to them. Okay? So different methods based on the use cases, uh, so you can plan, what kind of a tool you want to create. You want to create, you can write a Python function and expose it as a tool. You want to write an agent and expose it as a tool. So based on the use cases and the design pattern that you want to use, you need to choose the right model. Now quickly, session and memory. How do we, there are options for retaining the session and memory, because when we create the agent, it is very important that it understand what was asked earlier. So you can always go and refer, just there is a big library of ADK. It's worth a good to touch upon the session and memory as well. Likewise, callbacks are a good, very important functions over here that for creating the end-to-end application. So do please go and do read on this as well. Okay, so I'll take a pause here because I want to spend some time on workshop as well. So we are already 4:30. So I think let's switch to the workshop. Okay. Okay. So if the time permits, maybe we can talk about more on what the the remaining of the slides where we'll talk about MCP. But anyways, we will be covering that in the workshop. So let me know if everybody is able to open this particular link, right? Right. Do we have this link in the chat? Okay, I'm just pasting it. Try this if everybody is open to. Okay, somehow I'm not. Oh, thank you. Please see if you are able to open this. So once you open it, it will ask you. Okay. So yeah, can you try this? Do you see this window? And you need to register with your Gmail account, and then you will see click here to access your credits. Right? If you click over here, it will be filled with your name, coupon code, everything. You just need to accept and continue. All right, I see some done and okay. Super. All right. So, are you redirect to console? Google Cloud Console. Let me know. Is every is Google Cloud Console is visible to everybody? Yes, super. So here you can go and create. Yeah, create a new project. If you are not already redirected to create a new project. Say just give a name to a project. Okay, and connect. Dishant, you can create a new project if that helps. If you have already have few projects, maybe you create a new one. And also just one more thing, if people have not checked it, you can also check if you have just type in the search bar credits and see if you have $5 credit to your billing account here, and your billing account should be platform trial billing. Just check that before you proceed. And once you see like $5 credits that will be credited as part of this one, you select your project. Okay, Prachati, what do you want to tell again? How to see the credits? Akshay, have you created a new project? Anukriti, $300 credit you can use, but for this hackathon, you can also use this $5 credit. Okay, some people are asking how we reached over here. Uh, in your uh, in your chat, there is a hackathon link that been shared. You just need to click it, register it with your Gmail account. You will be redirected to a Google Cloud Console page. Here, if you just type in the credits, you, you will see the credits also. You can go to credits. It's not a mandatory step, but just to check if there are $5 credits. But if you are using your own Gmail, your own Google Cloud account, that is also okay, right? So that's not a problem. And you can create a new project or select an existing one, whatever works best for you. Okay. So we'll be proceeding with the lab. So do you have this lab link over here? Everybody, do you have access to the lab link? So Sagar, whatever tools that you use today in a Google, it will be it will cover in your $5 account. But yeah, can team, can you share the hackathon link, the lab link, so that people can follow along? Okay, so we'll be sharing the lab link soon. Please see if you are able to access this lab links. Cool, Nimesha. Yeah. Search project on search bar and create new through free trial billing. Got it. Cool. There is again lab link. Please open that lab link. Got it. Okay. Cool. Super. Super. So let's begin with the lab. Right. So what we will do is we will be creating um, okay, an agent today that will give you that will connect with the MCP server. That MCP server will give some, will configure a database that MCP server will be integrated to, and we'll create an agent that will access this tool to get the answers and reply to the user, right? So it's an interesting one. Please follow along. If you're not able to, even if you are not able to complete it, this is very detailed documented lab. You can you can go and try it later as well if that is, but please pay attention over here, it will be helpful, right? So on the right hand side, if you see, there is a cloud shell icon for the cloud shell. So it is a command line interface where you can you can do and do the command line. Sorry, I think I was not sharing it, but on the right hand side, there is a tab over here, right? This cloud shell. So if you click over here, a command line interface will be open for you. Okay, so we'll be writing some commands over here. Okay, so so if you go over here, you just paste the commands. These are like G Cloud commands. So it will set up set up the environment, like who the user is, right? And then if you have side by side, I won't be able to switch too much between the windows, otherwise it will be very messy. So I request that you follow along with the lab details that it is given. Go to the section number 2, and there are few commands that have been listed: gcloud auth list, gconfig project list, and this. So if you see, when we configure the project, test lab is your active project is test lab hack. This is what it is, right? And then you need to enable few APIs. So why we need to enable these APIs? Because by default, most of the APIs are turned off for the reasons that you should not people should not be get to charged unnecessarily or unintentionally. So you enable the API before using these services. Is everybody so far with me? And if you don't know how to get the project from, just just clear the screen for you. Okay, you can go to config, set project. When you click on this, you can copy the project ID from here. You need to learn Python for this particular one. Yes. Okay. This has been completed successfully. So just follow along. So we are moving to step number 3. So step number 3 says we need to create a Cloud SQL instance, right? So I'll be creating a Cloud SQL. So it is like a PostgreSQL server. So just say I'll create a SQL server with HotelDB instance, Postgre version 15, DB name, and some enterprises. Okay. You can always use multiple tabs for okay. So here, so how do we see that what we have configured? So we go to Cloud SQL. Click on SQL. Here in this, if you see my, it is still creating the SQL server for me. Not Mithya rate limit is exceeded for what? We have not started yet. Just see if you have followed the lab and you have enabled the APIs. In the step number 2, there have been, that APIs needs to be enabled. Make sure you have enabled the API. And if you go to the console, if you type in Cloud SQL, you can go to the product SQL. Here you will see that a new database is being created. Okay. And it is still in progress. We'll wait for a minute. Okay, if you go to enable the APIs, there is in the lab, there is a section number 2, point number 8. There you go and enable the APIs. Right? G Cloud services enable. There are 7-8 APIs that you need to enable. After you enable the APIs, we'll create a Cloud SQL instance. Okay. Let me know if okay. Mm, is anybody till here? It's creating the database at the same step where I am so far. Okay, great, great. Kanishka, can you try with your email ID and the link that we have provided earlier? Can you scroll up in the chat window and see there's a link being provided for registration? Maybe you can try that again. Okay, so in the meanwhile, I'll give you a walkthrough of how the SQL instance would look like. So here, if you click on the instance that is being provisioned so far, okay, you go to Cloud SQL Studio on the left hand side. It will ask you which database you want to connect to. So once we have the database created, it will show up over here. Okay. So let's wait. It's taking time more than usual for creating a database instance, but it's okay. Let's give it some time. In the meanwhile, what I can do is I can help you. Let's discuss what we are gonna do as part of the workshop and the next steps. Right. So once we create the database, we will populate it with some. We'll create a table hotels and we'll populate some values into it. Right. So now our database is ready. So then we will create a toolbox, MCP toolbox for databases. So MCP toolbox for databases is an already given MCP server for databases, for which if you click on that link, there is a code available. The complete architecture and the code is available. So basically what it is it's kind of a simple interface or integration point where you specify, okay, if you want to connect to any of the databases, right? So how would you integrate? So think of it as a C type charger, right? That you have a C type of port and connector. You can connect multiple and different kind of a devices to it, right? So MCP toolbox for databases is kind of that toolbox for which behind the scenes you can plug in any of your databases, the supported ones, and then your agents and different applications can use those toolbox to connect to the respective databases. Right? All right. So we'll go back to there and quickly create tables. So here if you see the database configuration has is been created. I'll go to Cloud SQL instance, click this. I'll go to Cloud SQL Studio. It will ask me which database to connect. If you click on the database, it will select Postgre, and as part of the configuration, we have also given Postgre as the password. All right. Now we go to the query part where we'll write, okay, let's create this table and we will populate some data. So all these steps and queries are provided to you as part of the work, as part of the lab details. So you can go and create this. So I'm also doing a copy paste from there. You can also do that. That's quite simple, right? So we have created a database. We have created okay, and we can also test it. That these are the list of hotels that we have created as part of the database. Okay. So these are the hotels. These are the location, price, check-in date, check-in out, blah blah blah. All this information, a simple database we have created. What we will do next is we'll create a MCP server. Okay. So we will use the toolbox that is provided. Information. I want you all to come back to the console screen, or if you are left behind, just follow along with me. Just see how I am doing it and where I'm doing it, and so that later on you can do it, right? PWT, LS, okay. So you create MCP folder. You come over here and execute these commands. So I had already done this earlier. So you create a MCP toolbox in your directory. You go to that directory and you export this command, and you execute this command. It will create a binary. It will install a binary of MCP toolbox for you, right? Now the important part is that how do we configure. So if you see over here tools.xm toolbox, so here you see that how we are defining it. You define your project. You define first of all you define your source, that your source is your cloud SQL Postgre. Your project ID is, region is this, your instance is this, database, username, password. This is details that you need to provide for the connection. And here you define the tools, that you search hotel by name, you search hotel by location, right? And what it needs to done, what is need to do, it's create the PostgreSQL search hotel. If what this particular function tool does is it search the hotel by the name, right? Okay. And if the input is name, the description of that particular input would be name of the hotel, and you will be what the query would be. And similarly, if you want to search hotel by location, what would be the query, and how will do all this, how the model should be, how this tool should be returning the response. And you can also create your tool set, that in particular tool set, do you need all these function or which all the functions. So all this you define it as a toolbox, and you just run this as a tool. So I'll just show you how do we run it. Once you execute all these steps, okay, you run this tool. Okay, what is it is saying unable to initialize, unable to connect successfully. Okay, ls cd, we are not yet PWT. Let's try one more time. Okay. Okay, there's a problem. We can fix it. Okay, maybe I just correct the project name, and that should help. Test -lab -hack Okay. So this is how your MCP server will start, right? So now how do we write a agent? So we move on to the step number 6 because we are already delayed. What we need to create is we create a directory for creating an agent. We create a virtual environment. You would all know why we need a virtual environment to segregate the issues of conflicting libraries and all. So we create a virtual one environment in Python. We source that and we install the required toolkit for that. And then that's it. Our ADK is ready to be configured. Now we'll create a simple application. Okay. So what I'll do is, for the simplicity, create another tab because here my server is already running. What I'll do is, let's say, this is my agent. I already have a agent tab. So ADK web. Now okay, so looks like I need to so let's do ADK web. We need to update the project ID. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. Yeah. So when you do the ADK web, you will test application would open up, and you can start asking, "Hi, how can you help me?" Super. Some error, no problem. So I'll explain you in the interest of time that what all we need to do. Follow along, right? So once you create a ADK create and give the application name, it will ask you to select the model. It will ask you where you want to deploy this particular model backend, right? And then it will create a basic agent for you that will have .env file init agent.py, right? And your agent would look very similar to this. Okay, when you can create an agent, simple agent like this, that name of the agent, description and instruction, right? Here we are not integrating it any tool, but how do we integrate that particular tool is likewise I mentioned in my presentation as well that you will import this particular library and you update that particular code with your tools, right? Here now you will be able to use the tool. So this is the tool that we have already initiated on my local on the port number 5000, right? It in real world application it would be some external URL that you will be connecting to. So your tool server is running on this particular URL. Now you are creating a client for that toolbox and you are using that toolbox to get the output for that particular agent, right? Okay, and once you run it, you can ask these questions, right? How can you help me today? And it will, if you remember, there were two use cases: search by hotel name and search by hotel and search by the city. So model will ask you, this agent will ask you, what city you want to prefer and which hotel you are want to prefer, and based on that, it will return you the output. So this is how the whole workshop and this lab will be executed. Uh, but nevertheless, these are well instructed labs. You can follow along it. It will work pretty well. So we are already on the top of the hour. If you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. Right? And team is there to support in case later on if you face any issue in executing these labs, you can always come back and connect to us. Yeah, Aditya has a question that what is the advantage of MCP Toolbox? So MCP Toolbox is you see as a connector, like you use APIs today for not even as an API, it is an extension for that. Like one single connector, like behind the scenes, say for example, if you choose PostgreSQL today, later on you want to choose the SQL Server today, or you want to choose some other, right? Your interface remains the same for the client applications, how the agent should be consuming the information. Your backend can change. So this is one of the use case where you can use the MCP servers.
Okay,
All right.
so yeah, Gunjan, please, please.
No, no, please. I think I'm already done with the presentation as well as the workshop. Team can execute this workshop at their convenience. It's a lengthy one, yeah.
So thank you, Gunjan. Actually, it was really insightful and engaging workshop that you have presented, and I hope the participants will be able to use it in practically from the recording and other things. Those who could not catch up early on and everything. And as
Yes.
because we are already past the time and everything, and you have answered most of the questions throughout the session and everything, so we would keep this questionnaire for Gen AI Action support at Hack to Skill. Those who have queries or anything, they can definitely reach out to them, mail them, and all your queries will be solved and resolved and everything. So we'd like to thank you again, Gunjan, for having the in this session, whatever you did, and the live experiments and everything. It was amazing to watch and everything. So I'd also like to thank everyone, all the participants who joined us, as because without them it wouldn't have been possible at all. And just to let everyone know, Gen AI Actions Hackathon is still open, and you can even register right away. Go through the problem statements, gather your team, and everything you need to do for the registration, and everything. And also the last deadline is 21st September. I hope everyone have already received a mail that the extension dates have been pushed. So 21st September is the date, and everything for your queries and everything, do reach out to us. And I hope everyone enjoyed the session. Thank you, Gunjan, for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure of mine. Thank you. Good luck, everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.